Okay, my dear young friends, this is Nagendra Akula, Department of Mechanical Engineering, St. Peter's Engineering College, Hyderabad. So today our topic is load cells, various types of stresses and strain measurements, and types of strain gauges. So now we will see that load cell. So load cell, by seeing of this diagram, we can say that over there to load cell, over there we are going to using one cylinder made with steel, and we are going to placing two strain gauges over there, and at the same time this cylinder made steel container, and we are going to attaching one Wheatstone bridge. So by this arrangement we are having resistance 1, resistance 2, resistance 3 and resistance 4. This resistance we are going to attaching this cylinder. So we are applying the load from the top. So whenever we are going to applying the load, there will be a compression force is developed. A compression force is developed, and this cylinder is made up of steel, and identical strain gauges are mounted. So out of 4 strain gauges, 2 are them R1, R4, and are mounted along with the direction of applied load. 2 strain gauges we are applying on along with the applied load. Another 2 we are not going to attach it to the applied load. The other 2 strain gauges R2 and R3 are horizontally mounted at right angles. One we are going to attach the applied load, and another one we are going to attach it to the right angles. When the steel cylinder is subjected to a force, means we are going to apply the load on the top cylinder head dimension on the cylinder. If the strain gauges are bonded and strain gauge is also stressed and compressed, so we are going to apply the compressive force, or it is going to be compressed tensile stress, causing the change length and diameter. Whenever we are going to applying that any mechanical element, whenever we are going to stressing on that, it will change that length as well as diameter. So with that, the strain gauges will get that change in the dimension, and we are going to reading the applied force. How much applied force we are going to reading there. See that this is that strain gauge. So over there we are arranged, this end we are arranged one strain gauge, and this end we are going to arrange one strain. Both are compressed. That compressive force goes to that rheostat 1 and rheostat force. That is the applied force it will go, and another rheostats will be there, R3 and R4 will go to the right angles. So due to this we are going to finding out what is that strain in the load cell. What is the definition of strain? Change in length by original length, that is called as strain. Now again we will discuss various types of stresses in the strain instruments. So generally, what is the stress? We are going to defining as force per unit area that act in response to an applied external force, that is called as stress. So one, see that here figure I am showing here, one external force we are going to apply. At the same time, inside the body another internal force is developed. So we have to take that internal force as well as the cross-sectional area of the body. So over there, it's if the object acted upon the electric force, external force from the top, and internally generated internal force, that internal force we are going to saying as replica force. that is called as repelling force or replica force. Internally it will be generated, that is called as repelling force, in order to maintain the original shape. Whenever we are applying from top on the object, oppositely one more internal force is developed inside of the body. So that body internal force we are going to saying as repelling force. If the repelling force is not there, there is no it won't come to the original position of the body. Whenever we applied, automatically repelling force will be there, and after releasing of the applied force, it will go to the original shape, that is called as stress. And once again I am repeating, stress is the force per unit area that generated inside an object in response to an applied external force, that is called as stress. Now we will see that strain. So that is that by equation we are going to deriving that stress is the ratio of internal force to the cross sectional area of the object is called stress, which is expressed in unit Pascal, that is Newton per meter square. That is stress is denoted by sigma, that is sigma is equal to load by cross sectional area, that is a Pascal or Newton per meter square. What is that? Now we will define what is a strain. When a bar is pulled, it elongates delta L, means change in the length. We are going to denoting by delta L, changing length, and thus it lengths to the original length, that is a delta L, change in the length. So this is the ratio of elongation or contraction, that is a delta L, to the original length L, is called as strain. And the strain we can express eta 1 change in length by original length, that is equal to delta L by L. So now I am going to showing this strain. See that original body is 1 I shown, and dotted lines is one body I shown. So L is the maximum first body length and delta L is the change in length. So that is that to understand this is to understand, for that cause I shown that figure. See that properly. Okay. Next we will see that types of strain gauges. There are so many types of strain gauges. We will see that one is unbounded strain gauges, bounded strain gauges, fine wire strain gauges, metal foil strain gauges, semiconductor strain gauges, selection and installation bonded metallic strain gauges. So these are the things. So how we are going to selecting? There are 4 points are there: minimizing total gauge cost, considering the gauge cost, obtaining and optimizing. So installation will be there: grid material, backing material, gauge length, gauge pattern, gauge construction, bonding material, and gauge protection. So now we will see that directly we will see that electrical strain gauge. Electrical strain already we seen in the we saw in that electrical strain gauge. What is this? Here there are 4 rheostats are there. First one is R1, R2, R3, R4. So I am going to connected R2 and R3. So that is this is called as Wheatstone bridge. It is an electric circuit suitable for the direction of to minimize the resistance changes. Therefore used to measure the resistance changes in the strain gauge. The electrical strain gauge bridge configured by coming the 4 resistance as shown. We are already shown in the seen in that load cell. Now we will see that R1, R2, R3, R3. 4 resistance are same. And R1 into R3 is equal to R2 into R4. We know very well. So now we are going here. What we are going to doing in Wheatstone bridge electrical strain gauge. R1 we are going to attaching one resistance, and R2 also we are going to attaching one resistance. So output E we are going to measuring over there. So this E output, how we are going to measuring? We are having one equation 1 by 4 into delta R1 by R1 into E, that is equal to 1 by K into E epsilon into E. as shown in the figure, a strain gauge is connected in a place of R1 circuit, and when the gauge is acted upon by strain and initiate the resistance to change in the delta R, bridge produces corresponding the output voltage, that is denoted by E, that is given by one equation. Okay, that equation is E is equal to 1 by 4 into delta R1 by R1 into E, that is equal to 1 by 4 into K into E into epsilon. Now we will see that usage of resistance strain for bonding, bending and compressive strain. Generally we know that in strength of materials we studied that one end is fixed, another one is and free, that is called as cantilever. So gauge 1 strain gauge I attached over there, gauge 2 I attached over here, and I am applying the force. So what is that reactions we will see in that Wheatstone bridge. We are going to applying with the help of Wheatstone bridge. See that two similar figures are there. This is one Wheatstone bridge I attached over here. Another one gauge, strain gauge I attached over here. Another two will be there. This is a measurement of bending strain. This is a measurement of tensile strain. So here I by the side I arranged strain gauges. Here I arranged opposite to measure the strain gauges. So I have equation to measure that strain gauge and for bending strain. E is equal to 1 by 4 into K into epsilon 1 minus epsilon 2. What is E? E is the output, and capital E is equal to input, and K is the proportionality constant. E1 and E2 are strains. So since the tensile strain on gauges 1 and 2 means strain gauges, so are positive, and same in the magnitude epsilon 1 minus epsilon 2 in equal to 0. On other hand, bending strain gauge positive and negative will be there. So both we are going to taking gauge 2 is negative, gauge 1 is positive. Thus gauge 2 is added E1, which leads the increase the output. We are not going to considering negative sign. So here that's why I written that bending strain for Wheatstone bridge for measurement of bending strain, that is equal to small e is equal to 1 by 4 into K into epsilon 1 plus epsilon 2 into E. That is that in this way we are going to measuring that strain gauges.